Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Infantry Pulse, and today we're going to be continuing my top 5 unit series with the Mage Flyers. So we've already covered melee flyers, and we've covered the range flyers, that being bows, daggers, staves. Now we're going to get into the mages today. So Mage Flyers are actually a pretty good class of units. There's actually quite a bit of good things happen for them. That being said, they're actually a pretty small class. So even among a small group of units, there are a lot of really strong ones. So I'm excited to cover those today. Make sure to like the video if you enjoy the content. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's also a link to the Discord down in the description, as well as a link to the new Twitch channel, of which I am actually now an affiliate. If you are interested in seeing Fire Emblem gameplay and other kind of gameplay other than just Fire Emblem Heroes, make sure to head over to the Twitch and subscribe there. I will actually be streaming Fire Emblem Three Houses tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you are interested in watching that. With all that said, without further ado, let's get into our first Mage Flyer.
I'm having a little trouble keeping up in all these frills.
So coming in at number 5, we have Bridal Micaiah. And Bridal Micaiah is a unit that used to be a lot stronger, and then the meta unfortunately shifted around her. So because of her dominance effect that she has on her duo skill, which debuffs the enemy team and then grants your allies kind of a broadleaf fan effect, in which they get bonus attack for each debuff on the opponent, that used to be really good on Aether Raid's offense. Unfortunately, the meta has shifted enough that duo units are very popular on offense, and so duo's hindrance is almost mandatory on defense teams now. So that means Bridal Micaiah sees a lot less play on offense. If you can get her dual skill off on offense, she is incredibly powerful and very easy to use. Very strong unit. Definitely a good unit if you can get it off. Unfortunately, most of the time you can't. That said, she's still a good unit on Arena because she is a duo unit. She actually scores very well. So here I've shown a Fire Season Arena build. It can really be whatever season you want it to be though. And the idea here is that Micaiah already has an impact effect on her weapon, so putting something like attack defense push or even her default attack res push means that she can easily hit the opponent pretty hard. With something like Mystic Boost, then dragons aren't hitting her defense side, they're hitting her res side. But overall, she can deal a lot of damage, and she will always be able to get off her dual skill in Arena. So with Bridal Micaiah, I think I said Brave Micaiah before, it's Bridal Micaiah. So with Bridal Micaiah, it is good. She's really good on offense if you can get her skill off. She's very good in Arena. She can also enable duo's hindrance on defense. Unfortunately, she's fallen off a lot with the duo's hindrance meta existing now.
Let us for once relax and enjoy life's simple pleasures.
Next up is Summer Byleth. So Summer Byleth is a very strong unit that has null follow-up in her weapon. So when you have the null follow-up effect, the go-to build is Windsweep. It's very strong, it's very easy to use, and it makes Byleth a good counter to a lot of common opponents. So, by running Windsweep Ruptured Sky, she can typically charge up a Ruptured Sky and fire it off without the opponent being able to counterattack. And she has a lot of good speed going for her. She gets bonus stats from Sun's Percussors. She also is just a strong unit stat-wise in general. Being a flying unit means she can enable ground orders, which is in her default kit, which is really great. And also means that she can jump around more easily with something like aerobatics. So she's definitely a very strong unit and something that's a little bit scary to face in Aether Raid's offense. So she's really good on Aether Raid's defense. She's also quite good in Arena, because again, she's a duo unit. That means she has the dual skill boost in her kit, and so she can be very strong in an Arena build as well. So definitely a versatile unit, one that does super well. I haven't talked about her duo skill. It has Desperation in it, but when you run Windsweep, you don't super need that. So definitely a good unit overall. Very strong, very impactful, can be super spooky to face. That said, her weakness is that if she is sniped, she has very low defenses. So especially on the physical side, she's very easy to snipe down. She has 22 defense even at max investment, which is just, you know, eek. So you definitely want to make sure that she is in a safe space when you build your Aether Raid's defense team and that she's not too close to the front line.
The path is yours to climb, but I'll help you on your way.
In third place, we have Legendary Azura. So Legendary Azura is a unit that is still super, super good. When she was first released, she was one of the best units in the game. She's fallen off from that a little bit. That said, she's still absolutely incredible. So with the build you see here, she scores very well in Arena, and she is a legendary hero. So with those two things combined, she actually boosts your team up very, very well. That said, there is a little bit of an opportunity cost compared to using someone like Legendary Dimitri, for example, but it is still good. It's still very, very strong. It's still worth your investment to put Blue Dual Flying on her, especially because she provides so much team utility being a dancer, and because she has a preferred dance, she can use that dance ability without taking a drop in score. All very, very, very good things for her. So with running Hone Speed here, Wings of Mercy, and then Earth Dance, that goes really well with Grey Waves and with Prayer Wheel, so those two things combined means that she can give infantry and flying allies extra movement, and also can give them, if they have Hone Speed active, +7 to all their stats, and if they don't, then she'll give +5 to all their stats thanks to Earth Dance. And running this kit, even though Earth Dance scores poorly, if you run a 300 SPC slot like Hone Speed, for example, Hone Speed 4, then she actually does end up scoring the same. So you can kind of compensate for that. Definitely a really, really strong unit because of that extra movement she provides, plus all the extra stats. Really, really good on Aether Raid's defense as well. I've also seen her used on Aether Raid's offense. She's just a good unit with a lot of utility, and one of the best supports in the game still to this day.
When mortal children grow up, they forget all about us.
Next up, we have Peony, and Peony is a lot like Legendary Azura. She is a blue mage flying dancer that has a pretty unique ability in her dance. So with her Gentle Dream, she gives +3 to stats in a cardinal direction from the target and from herself. Also in those same cardinal directions, she gives ground orders, and that's really what makes her great. So in Aether Raid's offense, she can allow allies to jump around and do kind of crazy maneuvers, and she enables plays that would otherwise be impossible, and that's why she's so high in this tier list. She's so good in the fact that you don't lose anything for running a dancer because she is a light mythic. She also boosts up your score, right? Because she's a mythic, and also gives a speed boost to your allies, and that speed boost is often very helpful if you're running something like a null follow-up tank especially. And she has a cardinal direction attack and speed buff, even if she doesn't get her dance off for whatever reason. So she's just a really, really strong support unit in pretty much every facet. You can also throw Blue Dual Flying on her and use her every other season in Arena. I've also seen people use her on defense. That's not advised, but it's something you can do. Like Dagger, she's just a unit that's so good at what she does that she can feasibly be used on defense, even though there's a score drop. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it personally, but if you do it, it can be very, very successful for sure. Overall, Peony's just an amazing support unit. Oh, by the way, the build that I've shown, I should probably talk about that build. The reason why you're stacking Life and Death here is to soak Bright Shrines away from your tank. You don't need to run a build like this, but it definitely helps to be able to soak those debuffs away from your tank. But overall, Peony just a very, very impactful unit and a very strong support. And our first honorable mention is going to be Plumeria. So Plumeria is a lot like Peony, but kind of worse because her pref dance, while being very, very good, very, very strong, is a little worse. So the pref dance debuffs enemies and inflicts the guard status on them. Sorry, no, it does not. It debuffs the enemies the end, and it buffs the ally. Sorry, I was thinking of Triandra. All the fairies kind of blend together in my head. Plumeria has also a ranged attack and res buff. It's a little bit worse than the cardinal direction buff from Peony because you do have to be kind of closer to your tank that you want to use, but it's still good. Attack and res are still super valuable stats, especially in Aether Raids. The Sweet Dreams debuff can also come very, very much in handy to take out a unit that maybe you're just 1 or 2 HP from one-shotting, for example. So, like, Reagan likes to hit and run, and so Plumeria actually makes a very good partner for Reagan, and so they work really well together as Astra Mythics. Just like Peony, she gives a speed buff, so that's also really good, and much like Peony with this build here, I've shown a Dark Shrine soaking Plumeria. So the Peony was Light Shrine soaking, this is a Dark Shrine soaker. So you can boost up her visible defense and res, so that hopefully you can pull away any debuffs that you might have from your main tank. You can also just run her default attack res push. She has a very good matchup against Thrasier specifically when you do that. Most Thrasiers anyway. People that build tank Thrasiers, which are in some fashion the superior breed. But if they're not a tank Thrasier and they're just the default kit Thrasier, Plumeria actually does have a very, very, very good matchup against them and can often bait out a Thrasier. So that's really good, boosting up her res to do something like that. So she has lots of options for sure, but she's just a little bit worse than Peony and not as versatile as some of the other units that appear in the top 5. Next up, we have Halloween Noe. So Halloween Noe got a very interesting refine and was the first of our seasonal refine. She kind of kicked that off for us. So Halloween Noe has the kind of super omega aerobatics effect, where she can hop to any ally within 2 spaces of her. So when she is on an Aether Raids defense team like you see here, that's really her role, that's really her niche. She can jump very, very far, and then with ground orders, she can actually enable her allies to then jump to her. So it gets a little bit spooky, and it can often lead to units collapsing on top of you that you maybe didn't expect to collapse on top of you. I've shown a wind sweep build so that she stays safe and stays alive against a lot of opposing units. The problem with Noe is that her weapon effect is very good. It's very good. It gives her a Swift Sparrow effect basically on initiation if she's within 2 spaces of an ally, which she will be because Grimoire. Grimoire, not Grimoire. So the allies then, she also has a kind of extra range rain skill, so she debuffs attack speed res, -4 on nearby allies, so she is getting an attack and speed swing of 8, which is very good. It's really, really good. But that said, she can still, because of her low defense, as you see here, even at max invest, she has 26 defense. She can still be one-shot by a lot of enemies, so running something like Wind Sweep helps her out with that. She can hit an opponent, hit fairly hard, put some damage down probably, but then more importantly survive, and then be a ground orders beacon for her allies that they can then swoop in. Melee allies can come next to her, ranged allies can come right up next to her as well, and then snipe a support unit that might have been behind. So she's really enables some interesting and hard to predict sometimes plays, and the only reason we don't see her more probably is because she is an old seasonal. That said, she's still a very, very strong unit and something that can be very spooky to face. And finally, we have Dancing Reinhardt. So we all know how much we love Reinhardt. Here's a dancing version. Now, do not adjust your dial. I have taken Dance off of him and built him for Arena. Now, before you go crazy and unsubscribing, let me explain. So, with G-Dual Flying, Speed Red Fire Trace, Attack Res Rain, Attack Defense Solo, all these things boosting up his attack, and then also being Reinhardt, and so having a Brave Tome that hits Res, he gets very strong. He gets very hard to deal with. In fact, he gets so hard to deal with, I've actually done some matchups, so I can prove to this to you because I know people are going to think I'm crazy here. But he has some very strong matchups against all the water legendaries for the most part. So he actually ends up killing Speedcrom, Dimitri, Leaf, Azura, Fjorm, all at max invest. He has a neutral matchup against Erica, who uses Erica though. But if you did see an Erica, he has a neutral matchup against her because she does survive, but she can't counterattack because she needs to run our dual cav. He does lose to Ryoma. That's expected. Ryoma is red and has speed damage reduction on his weapon and his Bushido skill, so of course he's going to lose to Ryoma, but with every other one he has a good matchup. Now you might ask, why not use just any other green tome, for example something like a Brave Micaiah. Brave Micaiah scores better because she has a Pref B skill, and she hits a lot of these units for a similar amount of damage. Well, I did the math on this as well. And Brave Micaiah has a better matchup against Erica, but again, who uses Erica? But she actually loses the matchup against Speed Crom and against Dimitri as well. So, at the end of the day, this Reinhardt actually outperforms a Brave Micaiah on Water Season. He underscores compared to her, but he definitely outperforms for sure. Obviously, the Micaiah could get a buff from something like, you know, a Hone Attack or something, and then she would have much better matchups against these units, but understand that the units you're facing are also going to kind of have those buffs. So overall, Reinhardt definitely performing better. Also has the utility of being a dancer, for example, in Aether Raid's defense, or Aether Raid's offense even. I've actually seen a couple of dancing Reinhardts on Aether Raid's offense, because he does have the ability to be a dancer, so he's just useful in being a flying dancer, right? He can give ground orders, he can do all that kind of stuff, but also he has very good combat, one of the best combat of any dancers in the game. So overall, I know it's a weird build, but I wanted to showcase something a little different because there are so many flying dancers on this list. I wanted to showcase him being an offensive flyer that can also be a dancer at the end of the day.
I want to do everything I can to bring people their happy dreams.
And finally, the #1 best mage flyer in the game, in my opinion, is going to be Duo Peony. So Duo Peony has all of the benefits of regular Peony, except she can be blessed. Also, because she's a duo unit, she scores very well in Arena. So she does very well in every single game mode. So on defense, she is a great support unit that is a flying dancer, of course, so she enables ground orders. I've shown a defense build here with HP stacking to try and dodge a Bridal Fjorm isolation. But she does very well because she has Gentle Dream, so she enables ground orders with her dance, which also gives extra stats. Bond of Alfar also gives extra attack, which is really good. She also is just a competent combat unit and can often take out opponents that are unexpected. I know I've lost to a couple Duo Peonies just because I was thinking that, you know, maybe that she wouldn't hit so hard because she's a dancer, but that's just wrong. But she's just a really good unit on ARD. On ARO, she's a dancer that has all of these same support benefits that Peony does, plus she has a duo skill that allows an extra dance on units from her same game, but that includes units like Plumeria. So it enables something like a Linja sweep strategy, right? So sweeping with Linja is immensely easier when you get another auto dance from a duo skill. And when you have something like a one-turn clear like a Linja, then you're either A, you're waiting out duo's hindrance, or B, you're sniping the duo units with Linja and you don't really care. So she enables that on Aether Raid's offense. In Arena, she has a dual skill. She has a preferred dance, so she's a dancer you can actually use in Arena to great effect. She is one of the best units in the entire game, easily, and definitely the best mage flyer. Alright guys, that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I already talked about all the other stuff I plugged at the beginning of the video this time, so I don't have too much more to say. Make sure to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be doing the shape-shifting flying units. That'll be the end of our flying top 5. So we'll be doing dragons and beasts tomorrow. So make sure to come back, check out that video for sure. Make sure to come to the Twitch stream tonight if you have interest in that. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching guys. Really appreciate it. Bye!